Everybody hates Call of Duty. This is not something that is new. This is not something that doesn't happen every single year. Just everyone hates Call of Duty. And what I mean by that is not that it's dead or nobody's playing it, even though I bet you have already commented saying Call of Duty's dead. Why are you making this video? I'm making this because there's two things that I wanted to point out that are currently the hot topic, big issues within the community that are very clearly pulling people towards the side of hating on Call of Duty, as opposed to simply trying to fix it. And in my opinion, this is one of the biggest problems with the Call of Duty community. People so easily jump in and say, this sucks, I'm not playing the game, yet they still play it every single day. When in reality, if you want something to improve, don't just say this sucks, give an actual reason or way of how to fix whatever that issue may be. Now, this all stemmed from over the Christmas break. A lot of people came forward and said that there was one main issue with Modern Warfare 3 and with Warzone, and that had to do with aim assist. Now, that's not going to be the only thing that we talk about within this video, but it's going to be one of the main things that we talk about. And then we are going to dive into the big one, the one that you probably thought this video was going to be about to begin with, and that is, of course, skill-based matchmaking. But let's first start out with the aim assist issue. All right, so essentially what happened was people were mad because aim assist, people using controllers, had a big advantage on people using mouse and keyboard. And I tweeted saying this: for those mad at aim assist, have you tried playing on controller without aim assist? If they got rid of it, everyone would hate it and go towards mouse and keyboard. So what would the solution be? Less aim assist, some aim assist on mouse and keys? Don't tell me why you are mad, give me your solution. Now, the reason why I say this is because, yeah, you can be mad. You can say over and over again that aim assist is too strong, but unless you're giving a way of fixing it, the point in conversation is pointless. So what I have to say about this is, if you've never tried it, go on console, or if you play on PC and use a controller, turn off aim assist. Just try it. Playing like that is so not only difficult, but frustrating. It feels like you're shooting at people, but bullets are going nowhere near them. This reason behind this is because I've played Call of Duty for 15 plus years, and there's always been aim assist on controller. It makes it viable to use controller against mouse and keyboard. If you are using mouse and keyboard and a controller and both don't have aim assist, keyboard and mouse is going to dump all over controller every single time. It's just simply easier to aim with a mouse than it is with a stick. That's just the way that it is. So the question from here is, what is the response and what is the answer? Now, the top response to me was from someone named Expel. He says, lowering the pull of rotational aim assist. Aim assist is necessary, which I agree with, but there's multiple different kinds. If we are forced everyone off of rotational, or at least lowered its power, they would still get AA. So the first response that I have to this is from someone named Expel. And essentially what he goes into saying is lowering the pull of rotational aim assist is the way to fix this. He then goes on to say, if you are a keyboard and mouse player versus a controller player, at close range, you can almost not win gunfights, because essentially if you're moving with a controller, rotational aim assist, as long as you are moving, snaps onto the target even easier. And essentially that's how it works. It's not like aim hacks or anything like that. I don't want to go that far as to saying that, but this is a good response because rotational aim assist is currently the way of literally locking onto target in every single gunfight you get into. You have a big advantage when using this and using it properly. As long as you're moving, you have that advantage. Now, the other thing that I've seen in a lot of comments were responding to me with this is add in input-based matchmaking. Now, the best way I could think to make this work is if you have to opt into it, because I would say probably 80% of people who play the game simply just don't care. They want to hop in the game, they want to play for their hour a night, and that is pretty much that. However, there's probably about 20% of people who really do care. I would say about 90% of that 20% are people who are playing on keyboard and mouse, because those are the people right now who are at the disadvantage. Now, as a controller player, I don't really care. I am the one who is at an advantage here, therefore I care a lot less about this. However, for you keyboard and mouse players, I understand the frustration, especially if you're playing Warzone. You get up close, and yeah, you can probably hit your snipes better than someone who is on a controller. You can probably excel at long range better than someone who is on controller. But as soon as you're at that close range, you are at a massive, massive, massive disadvantage. So being able to opt in to something like input-based matchmaking would solve this problem. Now, the problem with that is matchmaking would then take longer if you're on keyboard and mouse because more players are playing on controller, that plain and simple. So in other words, I think the rotational aim assist nerf is probably a better solution, but it might have some people frustrated right away who have been using it over the past little while. They all of a sudden are going to feel like they're not aiming properly, and that's going to create an issue in and of itself. To keep it plain and simple, Call of Duty is never going to be perfect. I see all of these things saying that people saying this was a perfect Call of Duty game, or this is what makes Call of Duty good. But if you look at that comment, 50 people underneath are going to be like, no, you're wrong. This is what I want out of Call of Duty. There's been so many iterations of Call of Duty and people want so many different things that there's never going to be one good answer. So in this situation where someone is always going to be put out, having the option of a different type of matchmaking might be the better option. And speaking of matchmaking, if we go over back to Twitter here and specifically look at Charlie Intel, if we go back before season 1, Sledgehammer put out this statement saying, we know there is a lot of interest in matchmaking experience, especially around how skill contributes to how lobbies and matches are put together, blah, blah, blah. They are planning on making some statements soon about how this actually works and diving into it in bigger detail. They said it's coming in the weeks after the season 1 launch. Now, if we go back to Charlie Intel here, he says it's now been over a month and a half since Activision's first statement on skill-based matchmaking. The statement said the coming weeks, but nothing so far. Hopefully we hear about something soon. Now, if you don't remember what was happening at this time, basically Sledgehammer didn't ask me anything on Reddit and almost every single question revolved around skill-based matchmaking. So in the day after, Activision put out a statement saying, we're going to be talking about this. We feel like you guys should know it. And that is the first time that they have ever addressed skill-based matchmaking publicly. People were like, okay, let's hear about this. We'll wait a couple weeks. But now it's been more than a couple of weeks and we have heard absolutely nothing. Zero. And this comes across as super disingenuous. This is already something that clearly they didn't want to talk about. And then everyone is up in arms about it. They're like, hey, relax. We're going to address it. And it seems as though the only reason why they actually said that now is to get everyone to shut up. Because now that people have kind of taken a step back, been like, hey, they're going to talk about it. They're going to come forward. Well, now we haven't heard literally anything. And with season 1 reloaded just around the corner, there is no end in sight as to when they're actually going to talk about this. So I wanted to put this in the video as well, just putting my statement out there saying, come on, you said you're going to tell us about it. It's about time. Tell us about it. Then everyone can be up in arms or angry or not angry, or at least be transparent. The transparency was there. You said you're going to talk about it in a couple weeks. So follow up with it. Actually come through and do what you say you were going to do. But that's really all I can say about it until they say anything more. But yeah, everyone's mad at Call of Duty for that too. So right now, two big things are aim assist and on top of that, skill-based matchmaking. And I don't see them addressing either of them anytime soon, but they said they're going to talk about skill-based matchmaking. So when they do, I will keep you guys updated. And whenever the next thing that comes along that everyone hates about Call of Duty, I'll keep you updated on that as well. So if you enjoyed the video, it's a more ranty style video. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, all of that kind of jazz. As always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're